What's going on, guys? This week I've been driving the 2018 Subaru Ascent. Pretty excited about this one, and I've finally got some clearing in the clouds and rain, so let's jump into it. Okay, so I guess the big question is, what is the Ascent and why am I so excited about it? The Ascent is Subaru's all-new 3-row SUV. This one's actually configured to be an 8-passenger, but you can also get a 7-passenger configuration. So why does it make me excited that Subaru is building something like this? Well, for families, I think it's amazing to have extra options. Just a few years ago, you only had a few options, and now it seems like we're having a lot of great options on the lower end of the price range. Just like the Atlas that I actually bought, this Subaru is a pretty cheap 3-row SUV, but it's still pretty nice. So let's take a closer look around and see what we think. Alright, so as far as the exterior styling goes, this definitely looks like a Subaru. It has that Subaru face and kind of Subaru overall look, but it doesn't really stand out too much from the crowd. So one of the more unique things about this vehicle in particular is that it does have Subaru's 2.4-liter Boxer engine under the hood. It's the turbocharged 2.4. It gets 260 horsepower and 277 foot-pounds of torque. That engine is matched up to a CVT transmission and allows this vehicle to tow up to 5,000 pounds, which is a record number for Subaru. Alright, enough with the exterior of this car. Let's jump inside and see how it is with the interior and see how it drives. Alright, so inside this car is actually pretty nice as well. Subaru doesn't have a long tradition of nice interiors, but recently they've been getting better and better, and this definitely will remind you of other recent Subarus. There are some hard plastics, and this center console already squeaks a lot when you're driving. It's pretty annoying, but again, this is a Subaru and they're not known for their fantastic interiors. What they are known for is their all-wheel drive system. This is a front-wheel drive platform, but does have their symmetrical all-wheel drive system. A few things to note here are this does have Apple CarPlay. Thank you, Subaru, for putting that in. And you get an extra little display up front that shows you a little bit of information about the road, the speed limit and stuff like that. It's incredibly inaccurate. There's a lot of roads that just say 20 miles an hour no matter what the speed limit is, and then we hit a couple of roads that were like 35 miles an hour that said 70 miles an hour on the display. So whatever they're using for their navigation GPS information is just a little bit inaccurate, at least out here. This also does have Subaru's EyeSight Driver Assist features. That gives you radar guidance to keep you in the lanes, or gives you lane departure warnings, also radar guided cruise control, which is always a great feature. If you are doing off-roading in this, it does have X mode with a hill descent feature. And one of the things that my kids were most impressed with sitting in this thing, it has 19 cup holders, 2 of them being in the actual armrest of the back seats, which the kids just loved. So as far as the family fitting in here, it is a pretty roomy 3-row SUV. It's not one of the 2-row SUVs that had a third row slammed into it. This was built to be a 3-row SUV. So as far as roominess goes, it is along the lines of something like the Ford Explorer or the Toyota Highlander, or even the Volkswagen Atlas, which you might know that I actually purchased for my family. So comparing this directly to the Atlas, I would say I like the style of the Atlas better. The interior is a little bit nicer. It's almost on the same level, but I think the Atlas is a little bit nicer interior. The price is right at the same level. You do get a little bit more room in the back. So if you got the third row folded up and you got the hatch open, you've got more room for groceries or whatever in the back for the Atlas than you do this one. But this one gives you a pretty decent room, again, because this was built to be a third row vehicle and didn't just have a third set of seats thrown into the back. So I mentioned a couple of the vehicles that this competes with, and I mentioned that it's around the same price range as the Atlas. But this is the fully spec'd out limited version of the Subaru Ascent, and it has a grand total of $42,920. The base price for the limited is $38,995, and the base price for the base Ascent is just under $32,000. That's kind of the same range that you're getting with the Atlas, but I think the Atlas goes up to like $52,000 for their like top of the line, maybe even more now. So getting back to the fact of why I was excited about this vehicle, first of all, whenever I saw the press briefing and all the pictures and stuff online of the Ascent, I kind of just glazed over it because I thought it was just another SUV coming out from another company. I didn't even realize it was a larger 3-row SUV. But getting into this vehicle and driving it, it's definitely an SUV built for families, for larger families. I have a larger family, and it's really difficult to find a well-priced vehicle that can accommodate a larger family. That's why so many larger families are into minivans, but just because they're cheaper and a little bit more practical. But if you like these larger SUVs, used to, we only had a few options, and now we have a pretty large swath of options. So it's nice to see that companies are coming back and focusing on these larger SUVs and giving families more options. All right, well, let's take it for a drive and see how it handles on the road. So driving the Subaru Ascent was a pleasure, really. The power from the engine was really good, and whether you were on back country roads or on the highway, it always had enough power, even with it loaded down with the whole family. This is definitely a vehicle that I could see doing a road trip in. It was comfortable, and I really enjoyed it throughout the week. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below if you have any other questions on the Ascent, and as always, thanks for watching.